Chan was cultivating within the system's security again while amassing a large quantity of divine energy, which he channeled into his body. And he was doing it so well. For the first time, the system was taken aback, and she wondered whether her foolish host was indeed genius. When he opened his eyes, they glowed gold. He felt it, and he stood up, overjoyed that he had finally achieved a breakthrough. The system complimented him, but Chan didn't listen. Instead, he gazed at the system, pleased that after so many days of cultivation, he could now master a talent. He wanted to know what was excellent about the Kanking system. The Kanking system indicated that there are level 1 remaining skill points. It informed him that he needed to pick one talent. Storm, water-breathing, curtain, Yulei, and earth-flowing flames are all learnable talents. Chan was horrified and astonished by what he witnessed, and the system wanted to silently walk away since it knew the host was furious. Chan grabbed her shirt, yelling at her that she had told him he could acquire talents after upgrading, but she only gave him 1 point. She explains that others only observe his ability to acquire skills, not that he is capable of learning all abilities. It's astonishing to see a system that is so stingy. Chan was enraged by what she said, and he smashed a bat at her, yelling angrily. The system smacked into a barrier, and her ghost form emerged, laughing. She was astonished that her host struck her. Meanwhile, Chan reasoned that anything was better than nothing. It is not terrible to prioritize self-defense first. Chan thought to himself that it is powerful and easy to use as a dirty trick. This is indeed the case, as he decided to take this self-defense skill. At night in the cold, Chan glanced at his hand and decided whether he was really afraid of being duped by the system. He chose not to worry about it, and instead attempted this talent to see how it works. Chan didn't see someone watching him from behind a tree, and it was the fox woman. After monitoring for a day, she concluded that he only taught the 3 trainees how to box and exercise. And she's not sure how he cultivates. She merely took advantage of the chance to have a closer look. Chan used this talent, and purple lightning appeared around his hand. He began to focus his energies on his thoughts. The fox lady just observed, curious to see how he cultivated. When he finished charging the lightning, he aimed his hand forward and released it. The fox woman was surprised, wondering why his motion was so great. When Chan discharged the lightning, the area in front of him erupted in a massive explosion. He smiled, staring at his hands in surprise, and whispered something about the realm of immortal cultivators. It's very great. He was thrilled because he wanted to show off to his wife when he returned. When he looked back, he noticed the fox woman lying on the ground, unconscious. He scooped up the fox. He looked at it with curiosity, wondering where the fox had come from. He was amazed that, despite being scorched, the coat color still looked nice. Chan believed the fox had died, so he was gonna take its coat, wash it, and make a scarf for Xiaowu. The fox woman's eyelids gradually opened as she heard his words. She hissed and clawed Chan, who intentionally let go of her. She cursed, recognizing that Chan's strong method was too harsh and may harm her as well, and now that she can't transform back into a human body and can't talk, she pondered what to do. Chan was surprised to learn that the fox was still alive. Meanwhile, the fox had just landed on the ground, and she reasoned that since Chan considers her a pet, she would pretend to be one. She got up on her 2 feet and posed, hoping to enchant him once again. And she started dancing. Chan was perplexed by this, mumbling that he became so aroused that he spotted a fox pole dancing. He thought he was daydreaming when he watched the fox pole dance. He closed his eyes and smiled, thinking about his pet Xiao Bai and his friends. He really missed the days of the global village. He hoped Lao Yi and the others could take care of those young brats. He then grabbed the fox and put it on his shoulder, mumbling to it that it was pretty adorable, and he wanted to keep it as a pet. The fox sobbed softly, relieved that she was safe. Chan then went home, probably going to sleep. In the Tianyuan Empire's inner palace, many people saw Chan's thunder, so someone sent one of his students to examine the problem. Immediately, a guy with a black aura said, "Where did that thunder just come from?" The disciple quickly reported the incident to his master, stating that it occurred near Jiatichin in Yiwu Prefecture. The mystery teacher informed his student that he was in the vital stage of rising to the god realm and that he would never allow anybody to compete with him for his fortune at this time. The master instructed him to go ahead and murder him, whomever he was. The disciple bows and agreed. His eyes were full with intent to murder this individual. Chan yawned, indicating that he was going to sleep. He laid down, saying that he had a lesson tomorrow, and instantly began to snore since he was already sleeping. Something moved beneath his cover as soon as he fell asleep. And it was the fox. "Lady," she giggled gently and said. "He slept so well." She moved closer to his lips and plundered her power from it. She licked her lips and planned to utilize Chan to see how her charm abilities would improve after crossing over to the Imperial realm. Her whole body was coated in a pink glow, and she was doing who knows what was within the bed. She was definitely loving what she was doing, as seen by her smile, and she was surprised to feel the strength entering her body on a continual basis. Chan was still asleep, so he had no idea what was going on in front of him. He was enjoying a wonderful dream, as shown by the faint flush on his cheeks. While he was still dreaming, he held out his hands and called his wife. He stroked her face, and she was surprised, wondering what was going on. Chan was having such a pleasant dream that he began dual cultivation unconsciously. He was about to kiss, but he was bewildered since he didn't feel anything. He opened his eyes as his wife from the dream vanished, and he awoke at that instant. When he glanced around, he was a little perplexed. He nearly forgot that Yin Yuang had summoned Xiaowu back. The fox woman pretended to be sleeping the whole time. Chan has no idea when Xiaowu will return. When he glanced under his blanket, he saw that his garments were wet, and he was perplexed, not understanding what had occurred. He blushed in an embarrassment, cursing himself as to why he was dreaming about this every day those past few nights. But now that Chan is thinking about it, that dream was too real. When Chan departed, she opened her eyes with a flush on her face, certain that in a few days, her charm talents would be effective. The next day at Jiatia Academy Central Square, someone declared that all of Jiatia Academy's professors and students will welcome Centurion. He went on to say that the presence of His Majesty the Hunter Saint Mansion is a wonderful honor for our Armored Iron Academy. An arrogant guy told the Academy's elders that Emperor Zun had asked him to come here this time to monitor the teaching conditions at different schools. The headmaster was going to say something, but the arrogant person looked behind him and saw the protagonist, who seemed to be foreign to him, and deduced that he must be a freshly promoted elder. When Chan saw that everyone else was treating this person with respect, he wanted to follow suit, but the arrogant guy stopped him, telling him he is unworthy of knowing his name. He smirked arrogantly and informed him that he had heard he had started a martial arts class. He wanted to hear his thoughts, so he questioned which was better, martial arts or cultivation. Chan was angered by how disrespectful this person was, and he ridiculed him in his head, thinking that his mouth was so crooked that he wondered whether he really believed he was the Dragon King with a crooked mouth. Chan then pondered this question out loud: if majesty of martial arts and cultivation, which one is better or worse? With an emotionless tone, Chan told this fool that his question was narrow. The arrogant guy was shocked that he said that to him. The headmaster was even more startled when he questioned the protagonist whether he actually wanted to die, believing that this guy was stronger than Chan. Chan ignored what the old man said, continuing to add that, as the phrase goes, exercising the muscles, bones, and skin on the outer and practicing positivity and cultivation on the inside complement each other. Chan believed that cultivation calmed the soul, its will. But why are so many growers encountering bottlenecks? He firmly said that it is due to a lack of bodily strength. The supervisor asked whether the congestion was caused by a loss of peace of mind. Chan immediately informed him that he was mistaken. He said that if the body is not healthy, how can the mind be calm? He went on to say that everyone in the world values physical training and development, but they are unaware that this is a major misconception. A strong physique is like the foundation for a skyscraper. The deeper the base, the taller the structure may be, and the stronger a person becomes. The arrogant guy informed him that since he boasts so much about martial arts, he offered that they compete. How about he uses his martial arts, and he will his cultivation techniques? Chan just froze in shock. Chan then exclaimed that the primary purpose of martial arts was to moderate oneself, not to show off his might and battle. The arrogant person stopped him, saying that was only a technique to go through without endangering his life. Simply use this as a warning to the pupils. He smirked and asked if he was afraid. Chan was not terrified, but he couldn't decline this battle in front of so many people. He couldn't be so cowardly in front of professors and kids. He needed to think of a way out. His eyes brightened as he had a brilliant thought. With a confident look on his face, he informed him that because he insisted on cutting it off, he recommended competing with just one move as a demonstration. He recommended that they utilize lightning since he was confident in his ability to win because he had just lately learned how to wield it. The arrogant person also firmly accepted since he wanted to know whether this martial arts trained guy could stand up to him. Many students and professors were stunned and amazed since many of them were nearing graduation and had never learned the thunder method before, and now they finally had the opportunity to see tremendous lightning methods firsthand. The teacher standing next to the headmaster questioned what was going on. She wanted to know why Chan took the effort to choose the most powerful thunder method. The headmaster wasn't concerned about the challenge. He was more concerned with how he would schedule his courses this semester if Chan died. Dark clouds collected as purple lightning flashed, and some purple lightning emerged on the arrogant guy's palm, and his lightning had the ability to pierce anything. He then instructed Chan to take it like a man. He pointed his hands forward, and a massive bolt of lightning sprang from the clouds, heading directly toward Chan. He smirked as he glanced at the lightning. Chan lifted his palm to form his own lightning barrier. The supervisor's eyes widened in surprise, wondering how he was doing this. Chan's lightning then overwhelmed the supervisor's lightning, and the supervisor attempted to cover himself, but Chan's lightning caused damage to his body as it penetrated it. The supervisor stood there transfixed with disbelief. The headmaster stepped in before anything could happen, telling the supervisor that he agreed that it was only a conversation about martial arts and cultivation and pleading with him not to be upset because he had lost. The supervisor laughed and feigned to be thrilled. The headmaster couldn't figure out what was going on. He smiled, politely congratulating Chan for being such a great martial artist who should be put to good use. He then hastily informed him that he had to depart earlier, so there was no need to send him off. The headmaster's sweat dropped, and he couldn't understand why the supervisor was so eager to depart. As soon as he was in the air, his face became frigid. The headmaster was just delighted that this year's education money will be massive. The supervisor discovered something when Chan's lightning hit him. He sensed that Chan is the child of destiny that Emperor Zun is seeking, and this youngster is so dangerous that he must be murdered. While flying, he intended to steady himself first, and then promptly tell high authorities of the hunting Saint mission. Before he could continue flying, he coughed up blood. He was stunned, wondering how this was possible as he felt his meridians fracturing. He pondered what Chan had done to him to wound him so severely. He then went down, but before he died, he was determined to send a message back to the emperor, so he utilized his last remaining strength to do it. A servant ran into the palace, bowing as if he had delivered important news. He said that Hunter Saint Mansion sent elite forces to Yinyu State yesterday. The monarch just listened to what the person said. King Yinyu asked Xiaowu how they should handle the situation at Kotetsu Academy. Xiaowu stated that based on her observations over the last few days, neither the Jiang family nor Chan Fan had any reservations. The hunting saint mansion may not be coming for them. She recommended that they wait and see what occurs next. King Yu claimed that replacing the head of a tiny household is a minor issue. He also said that a set of mountain guns caused quite a stir. Emperor Zun chastised him for lax governance. King Yu instructed Xiaowu that no matter what technique she employed, she must complete this burial before the people from the hunting saint mansion arrived. Xiaowu agreed to do what he said. She was astonished since she hadn't expected things to go that quickly. She had to take Chan away as soon as possible for his own safety. A few days later, near Jiatia Academy, Chan was inspiring his new pupils, assuring them that if they worked hard, they would reap the crop. A blue aura engulfed the area, and they were enthusiastically working hard to get stronger, leaving Xiaowu dumbfounded. Xiaowu inquired of the principal as to why the college had begun farming while she was away. The headmaster explained that when Elder Chan demonstrated his strength in the hunting Saint Mansion Centurion, students had a deeper understanding of martial arts. He wants to pursue it wholeheartedly. Xiaowu was not shocked since he knew Chan was the one who had ruined his painting style. He said joyfully that Elder Chan remarked that in martial arts, it's all about hard effort, and to demonstrate dedication, Jiatia College would be officially called Jiatia Agricultural University. From now on, what are your thoughts? He asked. Xiaowu tried to stop the principal from doing this, but it was too late, and she recognized that it seems that the elite squad is really here for Chan. Chan asked Miss Superintendent, why did she return suddenly? She answered that King Yu had ordered her to return to do business, and he arrived just in time as she wanted to tell him something. Meanwhile, the old man in the background was just dancing cheerfully. Chan was enthusiastically encouraged to look at this word. He inquired whether he liked the momentum. Chan instantly recognized that the principal had misunderstood what he said, since this was not what he meant when he stated no pain, no gain. The headmaster smiled happily, explaining that the main reason is that our school's educational philosophy has been stagnant for many years. Elder Chan reminded us and took this opportunity to change the direction of teaching. Maybe it will have miraculous effects. In the back of his mind, he thought to himself that a master like him who is willing to conceal his identity and come to his little armored city must have a deep meaning. He decided that he would follow his words. Xiaowu stopped the principal's speech and stated that she was come to pass on King Yuni's spoken instruction, which Chan listened to. And she goes on to add that in order to extend Jiatia Academy's influence, he must immediately travel to the 12 cities in Jiangnan to recruit students and brilliant individuals while remaining loyal to the government, and that he must leave today after receiving the order. The headmaster's eyes widened in surprise. He was unsure if Elder Chan was acceptable for recruiting pupils. The headmaster also recognizes that he would be gone and wonders what will happen to the teaching responsibilities. Xiaowu informed the headmaster that the order to recruit pupils directly came from King Yu. Chan just stood there in shock and uncertainty. The principal chuckled sheepishly, recalling that the king's edict could not be disobeyed. He recalled something, and he told Xian that something weird had lately occurred in Jiangnan's 12 cities. He does not know where the woman Miaoyin came from. Her songs and music have the power to assist people in overcoming obstacles, he said in awe. She is extremely powerful. Chan and Xiaowu were astonished to learn about this woman. The headmaster explained in confusion that there were rumors flying all over the sky now, and he doesn't know whether they were true or not. He advised Elder Chan that he must be careful when he goes there, as him and all the staff of the college are looking forward to his early return. Xiaowu and Chan were 100% sure that this Lady Miaoyin must be someone who has ascended. In the inner chamber of the presbytery, Chan completed packing all of the clothing, toiletries, linens, and pillows. While he was concentrating on it, Xiaowu seemed to be pondering about something. The fox lady spoke to Sister Xiaowu in another language, and she jumps into her arms, relieved that she can finally see her again. Xiaowu spoke in that foreign tongue, asking the fox, "Woman, isn't she supposed to stay in the global village?" And when did she ascend? She inquired, surprised. She confessed that she missed her and trained hard after ascending. She finally had enough strength to follow her after days and nights of non-persistent effort. When Xiaowu sniffed the fox woman, she knew she practiced dual cultivation. The fox lady was concerned and inquired whether she was upset that she had done this with Chan. Xiaowu embraced her and told her she wasn't upset at all. She was relieved to finally have someone to take the rotation and rest her weary waist. The protagonist was pleased that his wife and pet got along so well. Xiaowu proposed they take it to Jiangnan together. The fox woman was loving being so close to Xiaowu and thinking to herself that she smelt so nice. Why do I feel like there is a hidden message to what she said? Chan heartily agreed with what Xiaowu advised. He then stopped chatting since he realized the fox was too near to his wife for his comfort. He removed the fox from Xiaowu's clutches, and he glanced at it annoyedly since he didn't know why he felt uncomfortable. He decided that they would not carry it with them. The fox stared at Chan with puppy dog eyes, attempting to seem sad, and she begged him not to do so. In another language, she reasoned that he is a mature man who does not need to quarrel with a weak and poor little fox. Xiaowu chuckled since the sight was quite familiar to her. Chan bid everyone farewell, and they all went. The headmaster instructed everyone to go farm right now because when Elder Chen returns from recruiting pupils, he needs to witness the crop and good results. Everyone applauded, agreeing with what he stated. A few minutes later, the people searching for Chan arrived at Jiadi Agricultural University. When they saw the new name of the institution, they worried whether they were in the wrong area but then recalled that they had read the star map and that this was the correct location. They were intrigued as to why the name had changed. Jiang Jingyan was in front of them, and she introduced herself as the elder of Xiaojudi Academy. She inquired if they had any instructions from the emperor. The man in the center was merely astounded by Jiang Jingyan's attractiveness. After realizing he had been looking at her for a long time, he coughed and said that he had come here on the emperor's orders to recruit the newly rising elder Chan to the empire for an audience. Jiang Jingyan was astonished to hear this. She was shocked to learn who these people are. She concluded that these are the individuals who would execute Chan. She lied nervously, assuring them that Elder Chan's visit to the Giant Beast mountain range was really a coincidence. Meanwhile, the Tiger King and Jiang Rushua sat behind the tree, listening to their chat. Jiang Jingyan went on to say that he wanted to hunt down the highest Demon King and present it to the Lord Emperor. The hunting saints were upset, and one of them informed her that Emperor Zun's call could not be postponed. He told her to take them to Qinfan right now. Jiang Jingyan chose not to dispute with them, so she obeyed. Jiang Rushua was concerned because Elder Chan was in serious jeopardy. They need to figure out how to get out of this terrible circumstance. The Tiger King reassured her and telling her to leave it to him. Suddenly, all of the hunting saints were attacked, and they puzzled why there were so many demon kings there. They fought but were ultimately defeated. Jiang Jingyan took a step back in terror. She knew that demon kings had always had separate kingdoms, so she pondered how so many demon kings could come at the same moment. As the Tiger King realized that she was terrified, he comforted her that they were all his friends. When she inquired why he was here, the Tiger King saw the elder's humiliation as he left and assumed that these people were attempting to hurt Elder Qin. So he made his own choice and promptly informed the brothers to ambush them here. But the second reason the Tiger King is doing this is because he is pleased that Elder Chan has the nine-tailed fox in his hands. He decided to do it as a favor to him. The Tiger King was behaving strangely because he wanted to ask for a favor. Jiang Jingyan had no clue what foolishness he was talking about. Mayo Yinfang is one of Jiangnan's 12 cities. Chan was astounded by how gorgeous this site is. Chan was even more surprised that they held a festival. It's an uncommon event. He advised that they go down there and participate in the fun. Xiaowu agreed with him. While Xiaowu was flying down, the system emerged next to him, and she believed Chan wanted to take the postgraduate admission test since he was full of jingles. Chan was irritated, wondering why she began spraying him as soon as she came out. The system informs him that there are valuable resources around that can be absorbed. Chan was stunned when he heard it. He pondered whether this woman was a master with a heavenly weapon rather than an ascended one. When the protagonist landed on the ground, the guard was shocked. In an angry tone they asked, who allowed him to stop the legal instrument in violation of regulations. The other guard tried to act tough, and he shouted that Miao Yinfeng was reserved for today. All the people waiting here should get out. The guards intended to push him out, but Chan smiled boldly, and lightning crackled in his fingers, making the guards suddenly scared. The guy in front of Chan took advantage of the circumstance by asking him to marry Lady Miaoying. And if he doesn't, they won't unlock the doors for now. Chan was perplexed. He wondered if they were proposing or forcing a marriage. Suddenly, an arrogant idiot came out, claiming that this young master is a cultured person who values truth above all else. With an arrogant look on his lips, he reasoned that Lady Miaoying's piano talents were too advanced for common merchants and footmen to appreciate. Lu Yuan ordered his servant to put up an attractive gambling game here just to pick persons of high values and literary skills. This was refreshing for Chan, and he even inquired as to what gambling game they would be playing. Lu Yuan informed him that he had numerous games, including chess, calligraphy, and painting. Chess comes after Qin, and he happened to have a game of residual chess here. The brat struck a bargain with him, saying that as long as he wins against him at chess, he would personally welcome him in and pay for all of his purchases today. The odd chess game was surrounded by a blue glow. People cautioned him to be cautious since many people have previously challenged Lu Yuan, and everyone who challenged him spewed blood and died when they lost. Lu Yuan was confident in himself, and informed Chan that he was blind and uneducated. He said that this is Tianyuan's chess, passed down from his Lu ancestors, and it includes the great way of heaven and earth. He was certain that no one in the world could break it. The system confirmed that he's not bragging that this chess game has the power of the great Tao. She made a deal with him that if he could beat this game, she would give him another point. Chan accepted her deal. Chan's confidence in his ability to win resulted in a golden aura around him. He took a chess piece as he prepared to play. Xiaowu was taken aback by his physical attractiveness. Suddenly, he came to a halt, and the golden aura about him vanished. He sensed that there was something strange about this chess game, and when he looked at the board, he realized that every move he made would result in a tie in the end. Lu Yuan smiled and asked whether he believed he could overcome Tianyuan's endgame despite his inadequate cultivation. He insulted him, saying that vulgar individuals who don't grasp chess are only fit to nurture the Tianyuan chess game. The protagonist wanted to quit, since the game was so crazy. The system wanted to encourage him not to give up. But before she could do so, someone emerged, and everyone was astounded to see Lady Miaoying. Chan, Xiaowu, and the system glanced at her in wonder. Xiaowu sensed a very familiar aura flowing from her. Chan was taken aback when he discovered she was Lady Miaoying. The mystery woman was delighted to have finally met the young Master Chan. Suddenly, the chess got brighter, and Chan was surprised. He felt confused as to what was going on. After being transferred within the chessboard, he had no idea what was going, as he could see the chess pieces unleashing a great amount of power. He was shocked that he was transferred to the chessboard. The system detected that this chess game had been enhanced by the Great Tao, and she was surprised that she couldn't absorb it immediately. Chan resolved to seize this moment to demonstrate his true abilities. The brat chuckled darkly, knowing that he was done the instant he made the move. When a piece is dropped in Tianyuan chess, thunder and fire are triggered. Ordinary chess players cannot resist it. Lu Yuan was certain that if he was dragged into the chess game, the only way he could get out of it was to die. Right after playing chess, Chan was hit by lightning and burnt. Mysterious Lady then played her music instrument, and at that moment the thunder in the sky and the fire below have their momentum weakened. Chan thought it was the hidden chamber escape in the land of immortality. The system found it amusing that he had no idea what had just transpired. He was pleased that he could completely demonstrate his strength without interruption. As a golden light enveloped his body. When he placed the chess piece on the chessboard, it caused a huge shockwave. And outside the chessboard, the brat was anxious since the smell was about to vanish. He wondered why he hadn't come out yet. Xiaowu exhaled with satisfaction, recognizing Xiaofan had cracked it. The brat grinned in his head as he heard what Xiaowu said, knowing that even if he gets fortunate and discovers a weak area, he would be crushed by the force of the great power in the chess game. The eventual conclusion remains death. Lu Yuan recommended to Xiaowu that they marry. He promised they may practice bliss. Xiaowu stared at him and threatened him, urging him to keep away from her immediately. Suddenly, the chess piece began to shine brightly. Chan teleported out of the chessboard and he heard what the brat said to his wife. When he exited the chessboard, the system informed him that he had leveled up and received 1 point for the mission reward as well as 1 point for acquiring the skills Fury, Flame, and Frost. Fire encased his right hand, while ice coated his left. Lu Yuan was astounded when he saw this. He ran in front of him and kneeled down in 1 second, pleading with him not to blame him and to save his life since he was prepared to do anything. In the back of his mind, Lu Yuan was perplexed since he knew the only person capable of cracking the Tianyuan chess game was a divine master. He questioned how such a guy could go to the 12 cities south of the Yangtze River if he did not wish to steal heaven's secret. Chan wanted to get back at him for what he said to his wife earlier, so he used this opportunity to taunt him, telling him that his bed was rather large and that he could sleep immediately after mending it. Lu Yuan was appalled to be tasting his own medicine, and he answered that he did not want it. Chan stopped messing around and calmed him, telling him not to worry since he was not interested in males. Lu Yuan laughed uneasily. Chan smiled mysteriously and informed him that if he wanted to atone for his crimes, he just needed to clean the streets of the 12 cities south of the Yangtze River on his own. Lu Yuan was stunned and furious when he heard it. He couldn't believe he was going to be humiliated like this. He didn't care if he was at the heaven-defined level since his family was too, and he wasn't going to sweep the street. Chan observed his enraged expression and utilized his energy to restrict his cultivation. The brat was surprised because he felt repressed. Lu Yuan recognizes his error and attempts to make an apology in order to be forgiven, promising to clean the streets straight away. A few minutes later, at the Miao Yinfang Needlework Pavilion, the mystery lady who assisted Chan earlier revealed that Lu Yuan used to harass her a lot, but since he was a large client, it was difficult for him to lose face. Chan attempted to calm her down, telling her that she didn't need to be polite. In the back of his mind, Chan understands that when someone played the music instrument, he heard the sound of a piano but didn't know who it was, so he wanted to find out for sure. Chan then told the girl that he had heard the sound of a piano aiding him. He inquired whether it was her. As she took the hat off her head, she unveiled herself. She was relieved that meeting him and Xiaowu had not been in vain, given everything she had to go through and the humiliation she faced here. Chan and Xiaowu were overjoyed to see her after so long. Chan was puzzled, so he questioned why she was here now that she had ascended. Xiaoyin laughed and told them that this is a lengthy tale, so they should sit down, have a drink, and listen as she explained it slowly. She claimed that when she initially ascended, she did not grasp the situation and had to pretend to be a musician in order to avoid drawing attention. She was often asked to play in palaces, so she received a lot of publicity and became renowned. She then informed Chan that she is perplexed by the minor forces on the Tianyuan continent, since they are unaware of the presence of the Ascended Ones. But she added that large powers were aware of it, and that they all claimed to have never seen the Ascending One with their own eyes. Chan was astonished to hear that. Chan understands something is amiss here since ascended humans should be news to the whole globe of immortality. Xiaowu explained that the Tianyuan continent is quite hierarchical. If the news is purposely blocked, the lower level and mortal cultivators will be completely unaware of it. Xiaowu informed Chan, but it is pointless to ponder about it now. The most critical job is to get Xiaoyin out of here. Xiaowu used this opportunity to advise him that if he wanted to convince Xiaoyin to leave Miao Yinfeng in good faith, he should marry her. Xiaoyin gasped in shock, and Chan spat up the liquid he was sipping. He was now panicked, and warned her that, even though he was a kind guy, he would not make her happy. Xiaowu said that Xiaoyin was her best friend. Xiaoyin felt relieved that her buddy was watching out for her. After they finished bickering, Chan caved and consented to marry her, but he informed her that it was a fake marriage. But Xiaoyin and Xiaowu didn't care since they were simply pleased she was getting married. And it was determined that the marriage would take place tomorrow. Right at that moment the fox appeared. Wait a second, was she always in between her melons? Anyway, the fox woman chose to remain with Chan since it would be tough to find another chance when Xiaoyin arrived tomorrow for whatever. Winky face. If you get what I mean. Xiaowu and Xiaoyin left the house to go somewhere, and Xiaowu was happy to have a chance to meet her best friend again because it had been a long time since they had met, and they were going somewhere to catch up on the past. Chan just stood there in shock, wanting to stop them, but they didn't listen because they were still talking to each other. Before she could go, Xiaowu smiled mysteriously, informing Chan that he could sleep alone tonight. Xiaoyin wished him goodbye and said evening. Chan didn't want to let Xiaowu depart, but he realized he had no option. He had no energy to do anything. He was so depressed that he went to bed without changing, wondering what it was like for a woman to have a nice best friend. He was sad. When Wei Xiaobao visited Jiangnan, he was surrounded by gorgeous ladies, yet he was forced to remain alone in an empty room. He chose to disregard his thoughts since it was pointless to worry about them so much, and he fell asleep shortly after. The fox woman reappeared, and she licked her lips in longing, chuckling softly, relieved that Xiaowu had been so helpful to her, and it was now time for her to act. Chan, who was having one of those beautiful dreams again, began practicing bliss. Chan felt someone on his bed and he slowly opened his eyes. When he saw the fox woman on his bed, he awoke in complete shock, but he still felt he was dreaming, and he didn't want to undertake dual cultivation. The fox woman persuaded him by informing him that she had several sisters who wanted to serve him. At that point, additional girls approached, and he became thrilled and decided to do it. So if you get my drift, the great bedroom conflict begins. In the morning, Xiaowu woke up Chan and told him to immediately wash up and come downstairs to assist them in arranging the wedding location. Chan woke up and yawned. Xiaowu then glanced at the fox woman, who seemed fatigued, and concluded that they had done it. In the back of her mind, she was crying silently, grumbling about what had occurred the night before. She didn't do anything last night, since Chan fell asleep after he finished. The brat was joyfully cleaning the floor and he greeted the master. Chan glanced at him and recognized him. Lu Yuan informed him that he cleaned the streets of Jiangnan's 12 cities yesterday, as per his orders. Every time he cleaned a street, my body felt lighter and more refreshed, and my cultivation grew. The lady standing next to him is Lu Linglong, the Lu family's leader. And she just stared at Chan curiously. Lu Yuan further said that he had a premonition that after conquering the 12 cities, he would be transformed into the mythical divine body that conquers the sky. He begged with the master to be nice to him, and he brought his sister to thank him. Chan was perplexed since he had no idea what he was talking about. He pondered whether there was Chunibu in other planets. He decided to forget about it and simply go with what he said, which was okay since he wasn't sure what to say. Chan feigned coughing and told Lu Yuan some nonsense, claiming that volunteer effort cleansed his mind. If his mind is pure, then his body will automatically become pure. Lu Yuan believed what he said, like a puppy. When Lu Linglong saw this, she clenched her teeth with rage. She had had enough of this as she grabbed her brother's ear. She didn't think Chan was an expert, and informed him furiously that his wonderful body must have had other possibilities, which had nothing to do with Chan. Lu Yuan objected, asking her not to speak nonsense, as he revealed that Chan can break the Tianyuan chess game and use random Dao patterns to inhibit his development, which is at least a heaven-defying master. Lu Linglong refused to trust him, claiming that he had no idea that Chan had tricked him. She furiously assured him that she would prove it to him. Chan merely smiled. Looking at this sight, he pondered what evidence she was referring to and why he had an unsettling foreboding. Lu Yuan inquired as to what evidence she was referring to. She summoned an alpha dog. The dog growled, and Lu Yuan warned his master to be cautious since this demon dog was so strange. Because of this monster dog, her sister rose to the position of family head. Chan was stunned when he heard it. Suddenly, a servant appeared and inquired as to what Mr. Chan intended to do with these wedding treats. After saying that, he noticed the dog and froze in terror. The dog bit the servant, causing him to cry in agony. Chan was stunned, so he questioned Lu Linglong about why she was more unreasonable than her brother, and then released the dog to attack someone. Lu Yuan just woofed like the dog he was. Lu Linglong boasted that this alpha dog is the divine dog Xiaotian, merged with the blood of the dream spider. Anyone who is bitten by it will be unable to heal the human poison and will become her slave. Chan yelled that he would show her what it meant to speak less and accomplish more. Fire appeared in his hand as he leaped at the dog, and the dog reciprocated. Instead of murdering the dog, he stroked it, like a genuine dog lover would. The dog was pleased when he felt his familiar touch. Lu Linglong was just stunned. At that point, the dog came to its senses and broke away from Chan. Chan was perplexed, since no one should be able to withstand his 18 touches. After the dog had moved away from Chan, he shook and sneezed, freeing the dream spider from its body. Chan was stunned when he spotted the spider. Lu Linglong became concerned when she discovered the alpha dog was not listening to her. Lu Yuan whispered to Chan, saying that the dream spider is a cultured creature that black marketeers often employ to control captives. Chan mistook it for rabies, and now he has poor vision. Suddenly, the dream spider lunged at him, and he was unable to defend himself as the spider grew larger. Before the dream spider burst, Lu Yuan warned Chan to be cautious, explaining that it would explode as it got larger. Right after he said that, the spider burst, and everyone was blasted away. Chan yelled, questioning Lu Yuan as to why he couldn't convey such an essential issue in advance. There was dust, and Chan coughed from it. The dog's black aura dissipated, and he spoke telepathically, stating, "Owner." Chan was perplexed, wondering who was talking to him. The dog was frail, but it had enough ability to telepathically inform Chan that he was Xiao Bai, but before he could complete his name, he collapsed. Chan was surprised to discover that it had always been his dog. Xiao Bai has no regrets about being able to rejoin with his master before he dies. In his last thinking, he vowed to himself that he would remain with his master in the next life. Chan was genuinely concerned about his dog. He yelled in rage, and purple lightning flashed around his body. He was enraged that someone had done this to his pet. Lu Linglong felt discomfort in her head and touched it. Chan didn't care whether she was in agony or not. He was enraged and ran towards her, attacking her with lightning. He yelled at her, asking what she had done to Xiao Bai to make it like this. He then used his hand to hit her, but just in time, she constructed a barrier, but her strength was insufficient, and the barrier cracked. Lu Linglong was perplexed, questioning what he was saying. Chan questioned angrily if she is still pretending to be stupid. He shouted, "The alpha dog in her mouth is my pet, Xiao Bai." He then broke her barrier. He also used his eyes technique to attack, yelling that she needed to pay for what she did. Lu Yuan defended her sister and appealed with the master to calm down, explaining that her sister has always been extremely kind to Xiao Bai, and his food is even more better than her own brother. His sister would never misuse it. Chan cooled down and inquired as to why Xiaobai had developed this behavior. And what's going on with the spider? Lu Yuan helped her sister stand up, and she almost said alpha, but she immediately corrected herself, saying that Xiaobai was picked up by happenstance a month ago. And it was gravely hurt at the moment, so she just took advantage of its weakness and utilized the bell to get control of it. What happened to the dream spider was definitely not her fault. Chan discovered she utilized another means to control his pet, so he questioned how the dream spider, which is meant to control slaves, could be in Xiaobai's body. Lu Linglong said, "It must be the evil done by Miqing sect." She stated that the Miqing sect is not a real sect, but rather an organization that governs the subterranean world of Tianyuan continent. Like murder, treasure snatching, exotic pet trading, and producer goo, they will do any business that is lucrative. Chan was upset, so he inquired if Emperor Zun doesn't care. She said that Emperor Zun also dispatched the Hunting Saint Mansion to eliminate the Miqing sect. However, the Miqing sect has several eyes and ears, and its strongholds are dispersed. Finally, they were unable to return successfully. Chan was irritated, recognizing that nice people are bullied by others. He then reassured Xiaobai, saying not to worry. He would eventually exterminate and revenge the Miqing sect. With resolution in his eyes, he resolved to train even harder. He also determined that because this was an innocent error, he would not make things difficult for her. He then gave her a medication and told her to take it to treat her ailments. Lu Linglong was surprised to see so many doubt patterns on one pill. Lu Yuan attempted to obtain the pill, informing her that if she did not eat it, he would. Lu Linglong ate the pill before he could take it. Chan then brought out Xiaobai's medication and had him drink it. Xiaobai began to slowly heal. He shrank till he was back to the size of a puppy. Chan and Xiaobai were both relieved to have been reunited with each other. Chan was about to depart and return to his room. But both brother and sister screamed out to Chan, and they kneeled on the ground, and Lu Linglong begged Chan, telling him that they want to help him revenge the Miqing sect. Lu Yuan glanced at her sister, wondering if she was insane since they couldn't be opponents of the Miqing sect. Chan wanted to reject, telling her it was unnecessary. But she protested, telling him that she could not relieve herself of responsibility for Xiaobai's behavior. Even if the dream spider has died, the situation is far from finished. She vowed in her family name that her family would seek an answer from the Miqing sect. Chan realized that the girl would not back down, so he consented. Chan and the others were unaware that someone was listening to their talk, and the guy was surprised to learn that the dream spider had already died. This guy resolved to go back and sue the sect leader as soon as possible. Chan and Xiaoying were already married, and later that day, he was drunk, so a servant assisted him in moving about. The servant informed him that he needed to consummate his marriage with Lady Miaoying later. Chan stumbled around. The servant was there to assist him, and he said he was all right. Suddenly, he realized that this was not the correct cause for Qin and him to be in a false marriage. He thought that doing this would be like taking advantage of her. He didn't want it, so he pushed the servant away, telling him he'd handle it himself. The servant was not upset that Chan shoved him away so harshly. He just smiled and said he would depart. He opened the door to the room. Now I'm not sure whether this is Xiaowu or Xiaoying in the room. However, you can assume that when he entered the room, he was delighted, and they made love. The next day on the Japanese Bailey Corridor Commercial Street, Jiangnan is the busiest market in the Yinyu Prefecture. Chan seizes this chance since he realizes it is a rare occasion to come out. He instructed Xiaoying and Xiaowu to go shopping without him. Xiaowu agreed, instructing him to work hard to attract pupils. He really hoped that he might attract a few excellent students. Someone banged their fist on the desk and yelled angrily. The lady introduced herself to the protagonist, and said that the Jiazi booth belonged to the Lu family. She calmly instructed him to take inventory of his possessions and leave this location on time. Chan argued, informing her that he had recently gotten this booth and showed her evidence of his assertions. But she didn't listen to him, instead using her lightning skill to demolish his evidence. Due to the quick attack, Chan was unable to respond. The lady was no longer friendly as he advised Chan to leave this spot. Of course, Chan would not allow this lady to abuse him like this. He planned to do something about it. That's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button. Thanks for watching.